What's going on, guys? Good Feeling Film here, back with my sixth podcast. Now we got a lot. Now we have a lot to run through today. A lot of news, a couple trailers, and at the end, we're gonna go through the upcoming summer movies, and talk about them. I'm gonna tell you which one I think is gonna rule the box office, which ones I think are gonna turn out to be good, which ones I'm not too much looking forward to. So let's go right off the bat. Let's start off with some trailers that dropped during this week. Now, I'm not covering every single trailer that dropped. I'm only covering the ones I deem worthy since I control this podcast, so I could do that. Um, so we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven trailers to talk about, and we're starting with a smaller movie that I heard about a while ago, and the trailer just came out for it. It comes out in the summer, and that is Captain Fantastic. Now, before you think about anything, it's not a superhero movie, even though it's called Captain Fantastic. It's actually a very small indie movie. It premiered at Sundance and it's directed by Matt Ross. It stars Viggo Mortensen, Catherine Hahn, George McKay, Steve Zahn, and Frank Langella. Now, Captain Fantastic. I was hearing that it was like this very odd movie, but like most of the movies that premiere at Sundance are pretty strange. But Captain Fantastic, I heard, was like this very heartwarming, down to earth movie about like this family that is different from the ordinary society that we're used to. So I watched the trailer, and that is definitely the case. So Viggo Mortensen plays the dad of this family, and there's a lot of kid actors, and I'm not too familiar with any of them. And they like live in the wilderness. I think they're kind of, you could kind of compare them to like Amish people in a sense, so they're not familiar with like regular society's actions and like things that we're used to in our everyday life. So then in the trailer, it shows the biggest plot point is that their mom isn't feeling too good. Um, and I guess she ends up dying in the movie, and that causes them to have to move to the city to attend their funeral. But their mother's family doesn't want them around because they don't think, they think they're weird, and I don't know. But yeah, that's what his wife's dad says. You can't come to the funeral, or we'll call the police. But Viggo Mortensen says, "Nah, we're gonna go. My children are gonna see their mother." And the interesting thing about this trailer that really got me intrigued by this movie is that all the kids don't know like this real like the society that we're accustomed to, and there's like certain instances in the movie where they're like exposed to things like Coca-Cola, and they're like, "What's cola?" And Viggo Mortensen tells them it's poisonous water. So that already tells me that they have no idea what this society is all about. Um, the other thing about this movie is that one of its stars, George McKay, is a very talented young actor, in my opinion. He was in a series called 11/22/63. Um, really highly recommend you guys watching that. And he did a phenomenal job in that series. And I really want to see how he performs in this movie. Another thing is that Viggo Mortensen is an actor who I think is really good, but not that many people know him, to be honest. Like, I don't think that many people know who he is. Um, and when people say they're really big fans of Lord of the Rings, which I am myself, I love the Lord of the Ring movies, and Vigo is one of the best parts about those films. People don't know who he is, and he's kind of like one of those actors. And I guess I could kind of compare him as like a way older Daniel Radcliffe, where people know Daniel Radcliffe from the Harry Potter movies, but to be honest, I think Daniel Radcliffe is a really good actor, but his career after that didn't really like shoot up as people were expecting. Um, so he does like these small movies. I mean, he's doing Swiss Art. He's a dead corpse in his next movie, so that's kind of way different than Harry Potter. And I guess the same thing kind of happened to Vigo, where he was Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, and after that he kind of fell off the map, to mainstream audiences and to regular movie fans. But he's always been doing like these different roles in different movies. Like in the movie he did called The Road, um, it was like this indie sci-fi movie set in the future, and he did a really good job in that movie. But not that many people saw that movie, and I'm guaranteed not that many people are gonna see Captain Fantastic either. But I'm for sure gonna try to watch it because this is really interesting to me. All right, next trailer is the second trailer for Me Before You. Now this movie is directed by Thea Sharrock and stars Emilia Clarke, Sam Claflin, and Gina Coleman. Now, Me Before You is an adaptation from a very popular book, and it's a romance movie. It's a romantic drama. Um, Even though from the trailers, you can kind of like say it's a romantic comedy, but I'm pretty sure it's just like very lighthearted. It's not supposed to come off as like comedic in a sense. Um, and this movie is not directed towards my demographic at all, unless you have a significant other that's gonna drag you by the hair and make you go watch this movie, because I know a ton of girls that are like freaking out over this movie, because it's for them, it's directed towards them. Um, but I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna like totally degrade a movie like this because it's not directed towards me, because I really like the talent in it. First of all, Emilia Clarke, I love. Um, she's one of she's one of my favorite parts about Game of Thrones in general, and I think she's a great actress. Now, saying that, on TV she's phenomenal, but I haven't really seen her explode into the film world as I would have liked. Terminator Genesis was kind of like the beginnings, hopefully, of that, and that completely dropped the ball. But she was smart and she moved on from that. So now she's gonna do this role, and I really like the different roles she's picking, because okay, you look at her character on Game of Thrones, she's this very powerful woman, that's gone through a lot of change. But again, with TV, you have a lot more time to shape characters than in film. And then her character in Terminator was just like this badass woman, action hero kind of. But again, it wasn't really her fault. You have a director that's you have writers that are not that great. And now in this movie, she's playing like a sweet, innocent girl, and I like how she could do a multitude of roles. So I'm really impressed by her. Sam Claflin is an actor who I'm not too familiar with. I mean, I know he's in the Hunger Games movies, but he doesn't really get to shine his full potential in those movies, as much as some people would like. And he's co-starring this movie with Emilia Clarke, so this is really gonna show audiences these actors and the talent they possess. Also, in this trailer, Emilia Clarke's eyebrows were all over the place. That girl got some crazy eyebrows, and her facial expressions in this movie are gonna be like off the charts. Um, all right, next is a movie that I'm very much looking forward to, and that is Tulip Fever. It's being directed by Justin Chadwick, who I'm not too familiar with, but the cast I'm extremely familiar with and love most of them. You have Alicia Vikander, who is, in my opinion, one of the greatest actresses working right now, Academy Award winning actress, even. And I just love her. I love everything about her. Um, and from now until, even like in one of my other podcasts, I talked about her, but from now until the end, as long as I keep doing this podcast, and as long as I keep mentioning Alicia Vikander, I'll continue to say that I love her and I want to marry her. Okay. So yeah, so then you have Christoph Waltz, who another Academy Award winner. I love this guy. He is a phenomenal actor. Everything he does, whether it's a villain role, whether it's a good guy role, this guy like shines on screen, and he's a great actor. Then you have Dane DeHaan. Now Dane DeHaan is a very young actor who was supposed to kind of be like this breakout star, and be, the next superstar. But he kind of didn't do that, and he kind of fell off the map. He's not in too many things right now. But that being said, I still love his performance in Chronicle, um, and I hope he does the same performance in Tulip Fever. Then the movie also has an actor by the name of Jack O'Connell, and this is an actor I extremely love. I think Jack O'Connell is a very talented actor. He's English, and he was in that movie Unbroken, directed by Angelina Jolie, which wasn't, the greatest movie ever, but he was in two other movies that I saw last year called 71 and Starred Up, and those movies are tremendous, and he does incredible performances in both. So I think this guy is going to be a very great actor in the future. Then you have the legendary Judi Dench. Um, if you don't know her from like her very old works. She was in the new Bond series with Daniel Craig. Um, and Judi Dench is like a very notable actress in Britain. She's like this Shakespearean actress. So this is a movie like perfect for her. And then you have Cara Delevingne, who, in my opinion, isn't my favorite from this bunch. I don't really love her that much, to be honest. I think some of her work is okay, but she's never really shined on screen. But I know lots of people love her, and that's totally fine. But yeah, this movie seems very interesting to me because of the cast and because it's a period piece, and I love period pieces. Um, as I mentioned before, I'll see any type of movie, everything I will give a chance to no matter what. And period pieces are something I very much like. I've seen a period piece with Alicia Vikander called A Royal Affair, and she did a great job in that movie. And this seems like another movie where she's gonna completely shine, and I hope it's good. I just hope it's good. All right, next up is another Sundance movie, and that is Southside with You. Now, this is a very interesting movie that is getting a lot of attention coming out of Sundance, and that is because it is about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama and how they started their relationship together. It's directed by Richard Taney, who, again, I don't have much knowledge about, and it stars Tika Sumpter and Patrick Sawyers. So it's basically about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama's first date and how they met each other and how they started their love life. Um, and the best thing about this trailer, in my opinion, is Patrick Sawyers as Barack Obama, because holy crap, this guy looks and acts exactly like he would if he were like 20 years younger. I mean, it's incredible the resemblance this guy has, and just like his actions and his body movements are great. He has the height for it. I mean, this guy is a very great like it's crazy. You have to see the trailer, and I think it's gonna be a good movie. Coming out of Sundance, it got good reception. So I'm gonna definitely try to see it when it comes out. All right, next is a trailer for a movie called Approaching the Unknown, directed by Mark Elijah Rosenberg, and it stars Mark Strong, Luke Wilson, and Sana Lathan. Now, this movie doesn't seem that great. Um, it has to do with space, and Mark Strong is basically this astronaut who is sent out to be the first man on Mars. Luke Wilson is kind of the guy back on planet Earth, conducting him and telling him what to do, checking up on him, and whatnot. And then one day, I guess, the shuttle he's on gets off course, and Mark Strong takes control of the shuttle by himself. Now, this movie just seems like a 99-cent version of The Martian, Interstellar, Gravity, all those movies, and it doesn't seem that great. Um, so yeah, not that much really to comment about this movie. I'm probably not gonna watch it, to be honest, but I just wanted to let you guys know about it. But the movie I'm definitely gonna be watching because I'm very excited about this movie is Snowden. Now I have a interesting story to tell about this trailer, so I'm gonna say it. And so I know, like, I had a little bit of prior knowledge about Snowden, but not a lot. I just knew Snowden was this thing where the U.S. government, like, it was revealed that they spy on the public, right? But I didn't know much about it. So one day, I think it was last week, one day, I watched the documentary Citizen 4, which is all about Edward Snowden and the interview with him and him coming out, and him going into hiding and everything. And it was a great documentary. I mean, it deservedly won the Oscar for best documentary that year, and it was just like my mind opened extremely to everything I heard and learned from the documentary. And then, I knew there was reportedly a movie called Snowden coming out, because it was initially supposed to release in late 2015, but it got pushed to 2016. And so I looked up, and there was a teaser trailer for it. I watched I can't speak, the teaser trailer for it, the same day I watched the documentary. And then the very next day, the full first trailer for the movie dropped, and I got weirded the heck out. I was like, "What the hell? This is really weird." And I don't know. There's been other experiences I've had where I was thinking about a certain movie, and then the next day, like a news article or something drops about that movie. But this was extremely weird, because the day before I was like wondering. I was like, "Oh, when's this movie coming out? Like, it has all these great actors in it." And now I know about the everything, like the whole story behind it. So I was very interested. And then the next day, the full trailer comes out. And this trailer was great. I mean, it was really great. It's being directed by Oliver Stone, who's an Academy Award winning director. He's directed a lot of great movies. Um, but he's also known for putting his twist on lots of movies and like bending them to make them maybe not historically accurate in a sense. And he's definitely gonna do this with Snowden. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Shailene Woodley, Nicolas Cage, Scott Eastwood, and Zachary Quinto. Now, watching this trailer, I got even more weirded out, because Zachary Quinto plays Glenn Greenwald, who is the guy interviewing Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who plays Edward Snowden. And the entire documentary that I saw was about Glenn Greenwald interviewing Edward Snowden. So it's weird seeing in the movie them acting out the interview that I saw that happened in real life. So it was just weird, but I completely love this trailer. It seemed intense. It seemed like it's gonna delve into some of Edward Snowden's past life before he started his, unveiling of U.S. secrets. So yeah, I totally buy that new trailer. And the final trailer we got is probably the biggest trailer out of the bunch, and that is the final trailer for X-Men Apocalypse. This film is being directed by Bryan Singer. Stars a big cast list here: James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Oscar Isaac, Sophie Turner, Ty Sheridan, Nicholas Hoult, Olivia Munn, Evan Peters, and Rose Byrne. And I still left out a couple of X-Men. But those are the biggest players in this movie. Um, it's a sequel to Days of Future Past, which I really, really like. You know, Bryan Singer, all of his X-Men movies have been good. Um, and I think he's a great director to continue this franchise. So this trailer, it didn't give us that much new stuff. Really, it just extended the scenes we have already seen in the previous two trailers. Um, and obviously, the coolest bit in the trailer was the very end, when they showed us that it's confirmed now that Wolverine will be in the movie. How big his part in the movie it's gonna be, we have no idea. I don't think he's gonna have a big role, but from the get go, people were already speculating he was gonna be in the movie. Um, so yeah, so that was really cool to see. Just the claws, it was pretty sick. So yeah, I totally buy this new trailer, and I'm very, very excited for this movie. Um, I know I've already seen on another podcast called Collider Heroes, which I tune into every Tuesday, and it's very good. That one of the host on that channel has already seen it because he's friends with Bryan Singer, and he says it's just great, but he's not allowed to say that. Anyway, moving on. That was it for the trailers of the week. Now we're gonna move into the news. Now there's a couple news, not that much, but definitely enough to talk about. So first up is Commissioner Gordon and his role in Justice League. So in an interview for another one of his movies, J.K. Simmons was asked, how much of a role is Commissioner Gordon going to have in Justice League? And J.K., being the very intellectual man he is, he basically said, the fans know this character, and to be honest, he's not going to have much screen time in Justice League, which is, pretty smart. I think we could have assumed that his part wasn't going to be big at all. Um, but he did say that he hopes that this character will potentially be in 3 or 4 movies down the road. He'll definitely be in the solo Batman movie for sure. Suicide Squad is one where we're not too sure. We know the reshoots happened, but we're not totally sure if we'll see a Commissioner Gordon in that. Um, Another thing he said was he's not going to watch the other actors who have played Commissioner Gordon in the past. So Gary Oldman in the Dark Knight trilogy, because he wants to make this version his own. And I think that's a very smart thing to do. I have full confidence in J.K. Simmons. I love him as an actor. He's won an Academy Award. I saw Whiplash a couple of days ago, and I love that movie every single time I watch it. And he's the reason why I love him. And I can't wait to see his portrayal of Commissioner Gordon. All right, up next is probably the lengthiest news topic that we're going to talk about today, and that is Disney has revealed that they're going to have a ton of live action movies coming down the road in the future. So they gave out a couple of dates that haven't been confirmed or attached to any particular movie as of yet. But here they are. One is July 28th, 2017, April 6th, 2018, and December 20th, 2019. And those are fairy tale movies, or like the live action movies. But there's definitely a lot more that are coming. They just haven't planned out the release dates for sure yet. And the only confirmed one is Beauty and the Beast for next year. I believe it's going to come out in March, but correct me if I'm wrong. And they also said that they have a lot of movies in development, including Maleficent 2, with Angelina Jolie returning. Now, the first Maleficent, I wasn't a huge fan of, but it made a shit ton of money, so Disney, they could do that. Next is Jungle Book 2, with Jon Favreau returning to direct again, and I loved the first Jungle Book. I extremely loved it. But the thing on the question I have is, where are they gonna go from now? The story kind of ended there. But with Jon Favreau, I'm pretty sure that he's gonna come up with a great story to tell, and bring back the characters that we loved. Another one is Tinkerbell, with Reese Witherspoon starring as Tinkerbell, and this is a very interesting one to me because I'm not a huge Tinkerbell fan, but my sister is. I have a younger sister, and she loves Tinkerbell. And Reese Witherspoon is an interesting pick because I think she's a very she's a good actress. She was great in something like Wild, but let's not talk about Hot Pursuit. But yeah, I guess she could play Tinkerbell. She's like this little innocent blonde lady, and I think she could work well as Tinkerbell. One that's very exciting to me is Dumbo being directed by Tim Burton. Now, Tim Burton, I'm gonna just come out and say this, is kind of overrated to me. I'm not a big fan of many of his works. The only one that comes to mind right off the bat is Edward Scissorhands. I really like that movie because it dramatized me as a child. But no, I really like that movie. But yeah, I don't know. Tim Burton, he never, because I guess his style doesn't appeal to me as much. But with Dumbo, however, you're talking there because I love Dumbo. As you know, I used to have it on VHS, and I love Dumbo. Obviously, it's a bit dated now because it came out in like the 50s or something. But yeah, Dumbo was a movie I used to watch a lot, and obviously there's that one scene in that movie that just creeps everyone out. You know, you go on the acid trip with the pink elephants, and Tim Burton could definitely pull that off. And I'd also really like to see them use the technology that they used in the Jungle Book in that movie. All right, the other one that they have in development is a Cruella spin-off movie of 101 Dalmatians with Emma Stone starring as Cruella. Now, this is interesting because, you know, I don't really see Emma Stone playing Cruella DeVille, but I mean, I guess they can make it work. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. I think Emma Stone's a good actress, but I don't know. I don't know about that one. And then there's two other ones that they're not too sure. Well, one they're not too sure of, and the other one has already been announced. One is the Nutcracker and the Four Realms, which I have no idea what it's gonna be about, and it's being directed by Lasse Hallström, which I don't know who that is either. And then the other movie that they had announced was the Mary Poppins sequel, which they talked about a long time ago. And they have Emily Blunt playing Mary Poppins this time, and I think that's great casting. But then the other news that came out was Lin Manuel Miranda was also going to be in the movie. And if you don't know who that is, he's being talked about a lot recently because he is the creator of the very popular Broadway show that's out right now called Hamilton. Now, Hamilton is very big, it's exploding all over Broadway and all over mainstream because it's like this hip rap version of history, basically. But I think Lin Manuel is a great performer, and I love to see him in this musical type of Disney movie. All right, besides the fairy tale movies, there's also two other release dates that they announced, but with nothing attached to them yet, just yet. And they're live action movies too, but they're based on different things. The first one being August 3rd, 2018, and the second one being December 25th, so Christmas on 2018. And the other movies are Dwayne Johnson's Jungle Cruise, and Ava DuVernay directed movie A Wrinkle in Time. I'm not too familiar with either of those, but both people involved I like a lot. You know, Dwayne the Rock Johnson is a great performer, and he's getting better and better in my opinion when it comes to film. And Ava DuVernay is a great director. She did Selma, which was a great film, and I think her coming on to do this adaptation of this novel is a really good move. All right, so now let's get into some other news. News having to do with Alien. So there is some Alien 5 concept art dropped the other day, and that was because it was Alien Day on 4/26, I believe. So Neil Blomkamp, who's set to direct Alien 5, he went on this Instagram and released some concept art. And there was one very specific one that got lots of people intrigued, and that was of Newt. So if you guys don't know Newt, she's this little girl in Aliens that Ripley finds, and she helps protect her throughout the movie. But then when David Fincher made Alien 3, she died, you know, and people got pissed about that and whatnot. Um, but Alien 5 is gonna continue where Aliens left off, so it's gonna retcon 3 and 4, which aren't good compared to the first two. Um, but the problem with Alien 5 is that we're gonna wait a while for Alien 5 because Ridley Scott has already said that he wants to make his prequel movies to Alien before Blomkamp is able to make his sequel. And obviously, who has the most power? Um, it's Ridley Scott. He's the one that is has the most momentum right now after The Martian. And Neil Blomkamp, yes, he made District 9, but after that with Elysium and Chappie, it wasn't really the greatest, you know, stepping stone. We should say, especially not Chappie. So yeah, but I'm excited. I don't care if I have to wait 5 years for this. I want to see an Alien sequel. But what we're definitely gonna see next year is Alien Covenant, and also on Alien Day, Ridley Scott decided to one up Mr. Blomkamp and release his own pictures from Alien Covenant. Um, so he did this on Twitter, and he posted a picture of like this uniform with a badge on it, and lots of people were like, "Oh, whatever, it's nothing really important." But on the badge, you could see that it has a logo for Weyland Yuntai, which, if you don't know, is the company that is sending all of these people to these remote planets, and then they're getting wrecked by the aliens. Um, so we're confirming that this company is going to have some connection into Alien Covenant. Um, so that's interesting. It's probably going to be the company that's sending the people out to this planet. Also revealed was the casting list. So it includes Michael Fassbender, who's returning from Prometheus. Then you have Billy Crudup, Catherine Waterston, Amy Seimetz, and Danny McBride. Pretty good cast, and I'm actually very much looking forward to Alien Covenant. One, because it's called Alien, and two, like I mentioned before, Ridley Scott is on a high point right now. The Martian was it was in my top 10 movies of last year. I really love that movie, and I think Ridley Scott is coming back from what we knew and loved from him from Alien, from Blade Runner, from Gladiator, all those great films that lots of people love. I think that he's gonna come back because me personally, I thought I liked Prometheus. I didn't have any problems. Well, I had lots of problems with the movie, but I didn't hate the movie like other people did. I actually enjoyed it. But I want Alien Covenant to be this great, motion picture with some xenomorphs in it because that's what I really want to see. All right, that will do it for the Alien news. Now let's hop on back to some superhero news, and that is Marvel on Spider-Man: Homecoming. So a big question people have is, now that Spider-Man is part of the MCU, if you guys didn't know, um, the Spider-Man solo movie is going to be part of the MCU, but it's going to be a joint collaboration between Sony and Marvel. The question is, who's going to have more control over the movie? And a couple of days ago, Kevin Feige practically confirmed, and what lots of people already assumed, was that Marvel is having creative control over the movie. Lots of people already guessed this because Marvel's Marvel, and they're not going to let anyone mess with their properties. So now that they have control over Spider-Man, I'm like pretty damn sure they're gonna make this movie awesome. Um, I have high hopes for the movie now, especially because I've seen Civil War, and I think the Spider-Man is fantastic. I love Tom Holland, and now that we know that Marvel is gonna have full creative control over this movie, I think they're gonna make a spectacular movie, and I can't wait. All right. Before we hop on to another superhero topic, let's talk about this not rumor, but this piece of news that says that Goosebumps 2 is gonna happen. Now, I didn't see the Goosebumps that came out last year. I wanted to because I'm a huge Goosebumps fan. I used to watch the show all the time near Halloween season on TV when I was a little kid, and I'd get scared. It scared the shit out of me. And when I heard they were making Goosebumps movie, I was interested in it. But then when I saw what they were going for, I wasn't as interested anymore. But the thing is that I guess the studio has deemed it worthy enough to create a sequel. So both the director Rob Letterman and the writer Darren Lemke are in talks with Sony for the sequel. I don't really care, to be honest. I know it has a positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe. And it actually didn't make that much money back. It only made $156 million worldwide on a $60 million budget, which is they got their money back, but it wasn't as much as they probably would have hoped for. But that being said, yeah, I'm not excited for the sequel if they make one. But I'd have to see where they'd go. They want to get yeah, Jack Black back to play R.L. Stein, um, and I think they need to if they want to make the sequel like worthwhile. So yeah. All right, back to superhero news. Wolverine 3 has announced some casting. Now, before we get to see Wolverine in his small role in Apocalypse, no, I mean after we see his small role, yeah, after we see his small role in Apocalypse. I'm sorry. Um, so Wolverine 3 is set to come out in 2017, I believe. And so far we don't have much casting. We only know that Hugh Jackman's coming back. Um, and someone else, but I forgot their name. But now we know that Stephen Merchant and Richard E. Grant have been cast in the movie. Um, and people don't really know what the roles are. Richard E. Grant is supposed to be playing like some mad scientist sort of character, but Stephen Merchant's character has not been revealed yet. But this is interesting to me because Richard E. Grant is a British actor, and he's a pretty good British actor from what I've heard. I haven't really seen some of his work, but I'll trust people's opinions. Okay. Um, and Stephen Merchant is the interesting part to me because he's like a comedian. He created The Office, I believe, and he's been in a bunch of like comedy movies. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he like what his role is in this Wolverine movie, which is potentially gonna be R. So that's interesting to me. We'll have to see whether it works out. All right. Up next is some. I don't know if it's controversial news, but well, it's news, and it was reported like a couple days ago, that Will Ferrell was going to star in a movie where he's playing Ronald Reagan, um, during his presidency in his second term, when he's battling Alzheimer's. Now this is documented. Ronald Reagan, he had Alzheimer's, and people had to like keep reminding him he was president. So Will Ferrell was going to play Ronald Reagan in this movie. The thing is, people weren't sure whether this was going to be like a drama or a comedy. But, if you see Will Ferrell, you probably think comedy most of the time. Um, Me personally, I would have liked to see this been a drama because I think this is a more serious topic that needs to be talked about. And apparently, not apparently, it was confirmed that yesterday, I believe, he dropped out of the movie. He's not going to do the movie anymore, and that is because Ronald Reagan's family spoke out, and there's other people that had criticized him for taking the job. So he dropped out because they're guessing it's a comedy, and this isn't really something that should be like made fun of. Even if it is like a dark comedy or whatever, I think this would have worked better as like a biopic, a serious drama. Because I like to see Will Ferrell actually do a dramatic piece. I'm not too sure how well of an actor he is. Like when it comes to drama, obviously he's good when it comes to comedy. But there's been comedic actors who have great dramatic performances. The two that come to mind are Steve Carell in something like Foxcatcher or The Big Short, and Jim Carrey in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Those are two comedic legends, and they do really well in these dramatic roles. So I would have liked to see Will Ferrell do this, but I guess he dropped out. All right, next is casting for a movie that's slowly starting to catch on my radar and is very much interesting to me. And now with this new casting, I'm very much invested in what this movie could possibly be. And that would be The Dark Tower. This is an adaptation from one of Stephen King's novels. And Stephen King, he is a legendary author, and all of his books are being adapted to movies. So yeah, there was a report that came out the other day, and it said that Catherine Winnick from Vikings has been cast in the movie. Uh, there's no confirmation on who her character will be, but this is a great move in my opinion because I just recently watched season 1 of Vikings, and I'm planning on watching the rest. And Catherine Winnick, my goodness, what an actress! She was great in Vikings in the first season. I haven't even seen the other seasons, but she already blew me away. She's beautiful. She's fantastic. She's even being rumored to play Captain Marvel, which I'm not against. Like, I want her to play Captain Marvel too. But she's been cast in this movie, and I think that's a great move. And she joins a cast that's already like stacked. You have Idris Elba, Matthew McConaughey, and Abby Lee. It's being directed by Nicol Nicolas Arcel, who directed a Royal Affair, which I talked about a little bit earlier in the podcast, and he did a great job with that movie. So yeah, I'm really excited for The Dark Tower now. It's supposed to come out in 2017, so I'll be looking forward to it when that drops. All right, next up is a bit of, now this is kind of controversial and kind of a big deal when it comes to Star Wars fans, and that is spoiler warning. Also, by the way, if you don't want any spoilers for Rogue One, but this news has already been like speculated and rumored in the past, but now it's been like confirmed accidentally, I guess, and that is who Mads Mikkelsen is gonna play in the upcoming Star Wars movie. Um, Now, we didn't get like a name drop or what his character does, but we do get to know what his character or who his character kind of is. So Mads Mikkelsen was being interviewed the other day because he received an award, but like most interviews go, you get asked about the movies you're gonna be appearing in next, and since Mads Mikkelsen is starting to become this very popular Disney choice, he's gonna be in Doctor Strange and Rogue One. The interviewer had a chance to ask him about Rogue One, um, and he had to say that the script was beautiful, which I don't doubt at all. I think the script is going to be pretty damn good. But then he also started talking about Felicity Jones and her character, Jyn Erso, and he said that she's a very powerful character. And then he said that he was her father. And in the interview, if you see the video, he kind of says he said too much. And yeah, we're not sure if he was meant to say that, but I'm pretty sure he said that by accident. But yeah, I guess now it's confirmed that he's gonna play the father of Felicity Jones. We're still not sure whether he's gonna be on the Empire side or on the Rebellion. But yeah, now we know that he's gonna be her father. The interesting thing is, what are the repercussions gonna be of this? Because if he did accidentally slip this out, you know, Lucasfilm has pretty damn good secrecy coaches, if I do say so myself, because you look at someone like Daisy Ridley, she does great interviews. She doesn't let anything slip. The same with John Boyega, the same with Oscar Isaac. Um, I don't know what happened to Mads, it's interesting to see what he was thinking during that time. Oh, and then it was funny because the interviewer asked him, she was like, is Darth Vader going to be in the movie? And he was like, I know that, but he was like, I know the answer, but I'm not going to tell you that. So yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, so Mads Mikkelsen is going to play the father of Jyn Erso. All right, next up is another topic that's pretty big and came out recently. But to me, I have I have some thoughts about this, and that is that the new Lara Croft for the Tomb Raider reboot has been found, and it has been found in Alicia Vikander. Yeah, my future wife, as I like to say earlier in the podcast, um, my favorite actress working right now. Like I said, I love her, and I'll follow her through thick and thin. But, and, okay, first let me get this out of the way. Does she fit the role? Absolutely. She is going to make a great Lara Croft. I don't doubt that at all. She's going to be this badass, powerful, ass kicking character. The thing that has me worried is that I don't want her to be in bad movies. And I know, it happens to everyone. There's going to be a movie that you go in and it's not that great. It's happened to the best, to Leo, to everyone. So it's bad. And she's already been in some not that great movies. But the thing that scares me is this is a video game movie, and everyone in the film that that knows about movies know that video game movies have not been good ever, like ever. So does that worry me? Yes. If they would have said this after maybe like Warcraft would have come out, and maybe I would have been blown away by Warcraft, it would have been the gateway into video game movies being great. And then we have Assassin's Creed in December, but it's already been confirmed she's going to play Lara Croft. I don't know how to feel because yes, I love her and I want to see her succeed at everything she does. I just hope the movie turns out to be good. It's being directed by a director named Roar Uthog, which fucking awesome name first of all. He's a Danish director. He directed this movie called The Wave, which I really want to see because I heard it's a fantastic disaster movie. Um, so I hear the director's pretty good. But, the whole video game aspect of it is the thing that's freaking me out. But we'll have to see. This movie is supposed to come out next year. So yeah, I still love her no matter what. All right. Next news topic is pretty sad news, to be honest, for people who love to go to Comic-Con. And that is that Fox has decided to not go to Comic-Con this year. So Fox is leaving the huge event due to failure to protect their exclusive content due to leaks and pirating. So that's what Fox said their reasoning for leaving Comic-Con is. And even though I don't fully believe that's the complete reason why they're leaving, I do acknowledge that that's a really big problem when it comes to Comic-Con, is that everything gets leaked when it comes to Comic-Con. Last year we had the Suicide Squad trailer that got leaked. Warner Brothers had to drop it out early. What else got leaked? Oh, Apocalypse from Fox got leaked, and people got mad. Now Apocalypse looks way better, but when it initially dropped and got leaked, people were freaking out. Um, so yeah, I also think a reason is because it costs a lot of money to go to Comic Con, and I don't know if Fox is like willing to invest all that money in sending a couple of projects every year. Obviously, if they would have gone this year, we would have gotten uh, looks at Assassin's Creed, Wolverine 3, and stuff like that, but we're not going to get it this year. And this also brings up the question, what is the future for Comic Con? What does this mean for the future of Comic Con? Because we already know Marvel's going this year, but next year when D23 happens, they ain't going. They moved D23 up to a week before Comic Con. So does this mean that slowly studios and these big franchises are gonna pull out of Comic Con? Probably, and that's the way it's looking right now. Lots of people who go to Comic Con. I've never personally been to a Comic Con before. I want to go. It's on my bucket list. But they've said that it's so small over there, and every year it gets even more packed. So they gotta do some reconstruction. They gotta make sure their security is more on point. Because if you look at something like D23, nothing got leaked from that convention. Absolutely nothing. So they got the Disney police on check. These Comic Con police officers and security are kind of lazy if so much footage gets leaked every single year. So it's a shame. Fans of Fox that already bought their tickets for Comic Con, I'm sorry that this happened. But yeah, don't blame them actually. But it's a shame. All right, next up is a potential directing rumor, and that is for the Green Lantern Corps. Now we know the Green Lantern Corps is coming somewhere in the future, possibly 2020, and we know that we might have 3 Green Lanterns instead of 1 this time. And now it's being reported that the great director George Miller is possibly directing the project. This comes from Heroic Hollywood, and Humberto Gonzalez revealed this rumor. And Humberto is someone that I've listened to before because he's also been on the Collider Heroes podcast. And this man's always constantly dropping rumors and hints. And he has a decent percentage when it comes to things being true and false. But he said this rumor. Um, and I hope it's true. I hope this thing is true as hell because George Miller directing Green Lantern would be awesome. Obviously, George Miller was attached to direct a Justice League movie a long time ago, but that never happened. He's actually producing, he's a producer on the upcoming Justice League movie. So he has ties to Warner Brothers. So this would make sense, and I hope this happens because George Miller, even though I wasn't so in love with Mad Max Fury Road like a lot of people were, I still thought the movie was great, and I do think his directing was on point. And Green Lantern is one of my favorite superheroes of all time. That Ryan Reynolds one was not the Green Lantern that I love, so someone like George Miller could make this movie great. All right, so going from potential cast directing rumor to director leaving. So with Warner Brothers potentially getting George Miller to direct Green Lantern, they're gonna have to find a new Flash director because the old director Seth Grahame-Smith has dropped out of the project. So he was supposed to direct the Flash movie. This was supposed to be his first directing job. He's written a couple of books, and he also wrote the script for the Flash. He wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and he's writing the Lego Batman movie also. He said he left due to creative differences, which we don't know. We don't know what goes on backstage when it comes to these studio movies, or we don't really know what happens up there with the executives and stuff. But if he says he had creative differences and he left, then that's totally fine. I think uh, the most important thing when it comes to being a director is that uh, they want to carry out their vision with a movie. And if the studio doesn't let them create the movie that they want to, then they should just leave. Why did you hire them in the first place? He obviously had a pitch. You listened, you hired him, and then, right before filming was supposed to start, he left. Um, they're still going to use the script he wrote. But now the question is, who should direct the Flash movie? Me, to be honest, there's no one that really pops to mind right off the bat. Uh, Phil, Phil and Lord were supposed to direct, but then now they're directing Han Solo, which I'm happy about. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really have a name in mind. Um, yeah, I really can't think of anything. Let me know in the comments. Who do you think should direct the Flash movie? The Flash is a character that I really am starting to love, especially because of the TV show. But obviously, the new Flash is going to be completely different from the TV show. So yeah, the Flash is set for release on March 3rd, 2018. So there's still time. There's still time to find a director to solve this problem, and I think Warner Brothers will do so. All right, and finally, the last news article is again some sad news, and that is having to do with the Maze Runner. And the Maze Runner, the third movie in the franchise, is gonna be delayed indefinitely. So, if guys didn't know, a while back, an article came out that said that Dylan O'Brien was hurt on set during filming of the movie. And then it said that he suffered severe injuries, but they were saying that he was in recovery and then he was doing well in the hospital, which was great to hear. Because I think Dylan O'Brien is a very young actor with a lot of potential. I think he's going to be a good actor. And even though these young adult movie adaptations aren't the greatest, Maze Runner is definitely not my most hated one out of the bunch. So it was sad to hear that he got hurt. But apparently production was supposed to return on May 9th. But now they're saying that doesn't seem possible. They're saying his injuries seem more serious than they thought. So filming has shut down, production has shut down completely until his return. The film was supposedly set for February 17th, 2017 release, but it will probably be pushed back because of this. It's sad to hear. I hope he gets soon. I hope he gets well pretty damn soon, and gets to filming this thing. It sucks to see an actor get hurt on set. And from what the article I read said, apparently he like fell off his bike, motorcycle, and then the car that was filming him like ran him over or something. So that was horrible to hear. So best of wishes go out to Dylan O'Brien, and I hope he has a speedy recovery. All right, before we get into Act 3, we're going to end off the second act with the Check This Out movie of the week. And this week, we're talking about Enemy. Now, guys, this movie will blow your mind. Well, I wouldn't say it will blow your mind. It will definitely get your mind thinking, because Enemy is a very complex movie, but it's a very good complex movie. This movie is directed by Denis Villeneuve. If you guys don't know him, he directed Prisoners, he directed Sicario, and he's set to direct the Blade Runner sequel that's coming out next year. So this was before Prisoners. I believe they came out in 2011, and it stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Sienna Miller, and this movie is great. It's basically about Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's a history teacher. But then one day, he watches a movie, and he notices in the movie there's a guy that looks exactly like him. So he goes out on this mission to find the strange look-alike, and they meet, and things go crazy. This movie is very interesting and makes you think a lot. After I initially saw it, the last thing I said the first thing I said when it ended was, "What the fuck?" Because that's exactly how this movie will leave you. Um, I knew the movie was good because I kept thinking about it, but I really didn't understand it that well. I had to watch a explanation video by Chris Stuckman, who analyzed it, and yeah, this movie is intense, and it really makes you think. And there's lots of great imagery, great metaphors, symbolism, and it's a really great movie, and I recommend you guys watching it. All right, guys, that will do it for the news and to check this out. So now we're getting into Act 3, and today we're going to talk about the summer season. The summer movie season is upon us, and we're going to go through the big releases from May until August, and I'm going to talk about them and let you guys know what I think about each one. So starting off the batch, we have May 6th, Captain America Civil War. Man, oh man, am I excited. Even though I already saw it, I still feel like I'm going to go see this movie on opening day and feel like it's the first time, because again, it's going to be a packed theater with a bunch of fans. I'm going with my best friends this time, and even though I've already seen it, I'm still going to feel like it's the first time, and I kid you not, because the more I think about it, the more like shaky I get, because it's that good. So yeah. Then we have May 20th, we have 3 big releases. We have The Nice Guys, Angry Birds, and Neighbors 2. From those 3, Nice Guys is definitely the one I'm looking forward to the most. That movie looks fantastic. Shane Black, you have Ryan Gosling, you have Russell Crowe. The tone and the feel of the movie just seems awesome. Then you have Angry Birds, which could be the what's it called? The dark horse, because again, it's like this video game movie, but it's animated this time, and the voice cast is fantastic. Off the top of my head, I believe Jason Sudeikis, Bill Hader. Those are the only 2 I can think of. But yeah, the trailers I've actually laughed at a lot. So yeah, I'll probably watch this movie with my family or something. So yeah, and then you have Neighbors 2. This is the sequel to Neighbors, the first one. You have Seth Gordon, Seth Rogen back. You have Zac Efron back. You have Rose Byrne back, and now you have Chloe Grace Moretz. And I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be like the same movie, really. So I'm probably gonna see it later once it comes out on like Blu-ray or whatever. Not too interested in the theater watching experience for that movie. All right, then you have May 27th, and you have X-Men Apocalypse. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to the next X-Men movie. All the trailers have impressed me, and again, Bryan Singer, I trust them, and the cast is great. So yeah, then you also have Alice Through the Looking Glass, and I don't give a hell. I don't care at all. I don't give a hell. I don't know what that was, but yeah, I don't really care about this movie. Probably won't watch it. Didn't care for the first one. Don't care about this one. All right, so that's May. I think Captain America: Civil War is definitely gonna be the box office winner in May. X Men will definitely make a ton of money, but I think Captain America: Civil War is just gonna have the stronger staying power week to week. All right, then we head into June, and June 3rd, we have Me Before You, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, and Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping. So yeah, I talked about Me Before You earlier in the trailer section, and again, it's not directed towards me. I'll probably watch it because my mom wants to see it. But yeah, then you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is oddly enough a movie I wouldn't say I'm excited for it, but I want to see it because I like the first one. Um, and even though the trailers for the new one haven't like been selling me because it looks CGI and Beatbox and Rocksteady don't look that real, I'll still go and see it because why not? And then Popstar seems funny as hell. I think Andy Samberg is a really funny dude, and this movie seems awesome. I'll probably go see it with my friends and like laugh our asses off. All right, then you have June 10th, and you have Warcraft, and this is the movie I'm excited about. I want this to be the start of great video game movies. So yeah, I'm excited for Warcraft. Then you have Now You See Me 2. I haven't seen the first Now You See Me, but I'll definitely watch it before I see the sequel. This time you have the returning cast and you have Daniel Radcliffe in there. I know lots of people like the first one, most being among my friends. So yeah, and then you have The Conjuring 2. I'm not a big horror guy. I'm not sure if I'm going to see this. I know the first one got lots of praise. I heard was really good and creepy. But again, I'm not a horror guy. So I'm not sure I might see it just for the sake of the channel and to do a review on it. But I might shit my pants. All right, then you have June 17th. We have Finding Dory and Central Intelligence. For sure, the movie I'm going to see is Finding Dory because Pixar and I love Finding Nemo. And I want to see how the new sequel, I guess it's a sequel or a spin-off, I'm not sure. But I'm interested to see how Finding Dory will do. Central Intelligence is a movie that I think could be funny, you know, Kevin Hart and The Rock, but I probably might not see it in theaters, might wait for it to come out on Blu ray. All right, then you have June 24th with Independence Day and Free State of Jones, both very patriotic movies, if I do say so myself. Definitely gonna see Independence Day with my mom because we both love Independence Day so much, the first one, and this movie just seems like a ton of fun, crazy action. That's all I'm really looking forward to. But then Free State of Jones is a movie I'm actually also very excited about because it's Matthew McConaughey, and the story of it really intrigues me because I love war films and I like period pieces, and this is like both. So yeah, excited for both movies. Then you have July 1st, we have The Legend of Tarzan, which is a movie that I really wasn't expecting much of, but then the trailers blew me away. So I'm probably going to go see that movie. Then we have the BFG, which it's Steven Spielberg back at making like his fairy tale stories. I call them, you know, like E.T., um, like those types of movies, you know, like the fun movies, not like the biopics or whatever, but like this gets this creative side going. Definitely want to see it for sure. And then you have the Purge election year. Now, the first Purge I watched it, I thought it was okay, but you know, I feel like it was underwhelming because of the premise. Because when the first Purge came out, that marketing and like people were going crazy about the movie, but then it just ended up being kind of whatever. But the second one actually was better than the first one, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the third one because I don't really think these are like horror movies. I think they're like thrillers. And I like thrillers. All right. What's next? Next, you have July 8th, and you have The Secret Life of Pets and you have Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Both of these movies, I'm not sure if I will, you know, if I'll like see them in the theaters, but um, but I might see Secret Life of Pets. Why not? The trailers have uh really, I don't know. The trailers for Secret Life of Pets are pretty good. Whatever. Moving on. July 15th, Ghostbusters and the Infiltrator. Probably not. Probably not because Ghostbusters hasn't been hitting for me. All the marketing and stuff. This movie just keeps seems like it's getting worse and worse before it even comes out. I'll probably see it depending on the ratings and what critics have to say. But nah, I'll probably end up watching it either way because of the channel. And then you have the Infiltrator, that Bryan Cranston movie. I don't know if I'll see it. Probably not. Um, July 22nd, you have Star Trek Beyond, Ice Age, and Lights Out. Now, Lights Out is this small horror movie. Sorry about that. This small horror movie that was a short film, but now it's being transformed into a full feature-length film. I haven't seen the trailer for it because I heard it's creepy as hell, and again, I'm not a horror guy. But I might have to drag myself to go see that. And the other one I'm probably going to see is Star Trek, even though I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. I would just have to see it because I know it's a big property. And I'll give it a chance. Why not? Then July 29th, you have Jason Bourne. Now, this is a movie that I'm excited about, even though I'm here to say I haven't seen the other Jason Bourne movies. But I am going to do a marathon and watch them all before this movie comes out for sure, and do my in anticipation reviews on them. All right, then you have August, the final month in the summer season, and to start August, on August 5th, you have Suicide Squad, Nine Lives, and The Founder. Who cares about Nine Lives? But Suicide Squad, that is going to be a movie that's going to crush. I have high hopes for Suicide Squad, even though, Batman v Superman let me down a little bit. This movie seems like it's not going to let me down, and I'm excited for it on all spectrums. Then you have The Founder, which is another movie I'm very much looking forward to because Michael Keaton's picking these great roles, and yeah, I'm excited about it. Then you have August 12th, Pete's Dragon, which is the Disney live action movie. I don't know. I might have to see it. Wait until the full trailer comes out, but I probably might see it either way. And then you have Sausage Party. Now, Sausage Party is a movie I'm excited about because when this trailer came out, people went crazy. This movie looks crazy. I mean, wow. And from what I've been hearing, this movie's amazing. Because I apparently they screened it at South by Southwest, like an unfinished version of it, and people loved it. So yeah, I can just imagine how like a completely finished version of it is gonna go. And to end off August, we have Ben-Hur, War Dogs, and Kubo and the Two Strings. Kubo and the Two Strings is another animated movie that the trailers have been looking good for, and I might actually go check this movie out. War Dogs is a comedy with Jonah Hill and Miles Teller. I'm not sure if I'll see it in theaters, but I'll definitely check it out. And then Ben-Hur, the Ben-Hur remake. Oh, poor Ben-Hur. Wow. The trailer for Ben-Hur didn't impress me at all, and it just seems bad. It just seems like it's gonna stink. So yeah, I probably might watch it, but I don't have high hopes for the movie. Overall, wait, let me go back to June real quick and tell you guys who I think is gonna win the box office. Um, for sure, it's gonna be Finding Dory because Pixar, just like being related to Finding Nemo, people are gonna flock to this movie. And then July's gonna be July's gonna be Jason Bourne for sure. I think Star Trek is gonna be a fighter. I don't think Ghostbusters is gonna get close because people are just gonna it stinks right now. Secret Life of Pets might actually make a run too because animation, cute animals, people like that stuff. But I think in the end, Jason Bourne's gonna beat out the rest. And then August, it's definitely gonna be Suicide Squad. I'd like to say Sausage Party, but just like the R rating and like the vulgarity of the movie, and it's not going to be for everyone. But Suicide Squad is definitely going to attract a lot of people. So, guys, that will do it for my podcast episode 6. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure, oh gosh, what the hell happened there? Make sure to keep coming back every week. I do these weekly every Sunday. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll catch you guys next time.